Hey, take that off. $10 on a Sunday night. Who's out there with me? This one's going to be a little lit, so be prepared. Who's out there with me? Give me some comments. Hey, I'm back, Mercury. So nice to see you. I was actually waiting for you. I was like, is she going to make it? Okay. If you're here, go ahead and leave some comments so I know who's here, who's following. But this one's actually going to be very deep. And this is something that, like, honestly, most people don't want to talk about, but we have to talk about. I'm smiling because I'm over it. But yes, how to remove spirit attachments. Yes, they're true. It doesn't happen to everyone, but it does happen. And it's happening a little bit more now with the Ascension process because the devil and his minions are trying to keep as many back as possible. Okay. And you know when it's happening. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was like 55 degrees out, but it was warm enough for me to go to the beach. So I did like a 2.5, 3 mile walk along the water, and that's just so soothing. Thank you, ma'am. This is Mercury. And yeah, anyone else here? We are going to talk about removing spirit attachments. Yes, you heard that right. Yes, I had to remove them. My training is pretty hardcore. It took me out the game, so that's why it's been like a month, and I apologize. Hey, so for the person on Facebook, hey, Paradigm Climb. If you want me to know who you are so I can connect with you, there's a little button on the stream that says click, and then you have to give your permission so it can be shown if you want, just so I can know who you are. Oh, okay. So this is happening right now. All right. Paradigm's like, this is a great. Yes, it is happening. Actually, it happened to me. And, I've always said that this is Earth school. All right. This is Earth school. As a medium and channeler, I'm just in, and I'm clairsentient. I read energy. These things are happening more and more. And because I'm a medium, with me and my mentor, when these things are happening, I can call and ask, and they can walk me through the process. But not everyone has the benefit of developing their spiritual gifts and abilities to be able to talk to their spiritual team and find out what's going on. And this could be a little debilitating. I came to know attachments on myself from yes. They hop from people to people. And you're gonna have to tell me how you did it. Like, this is a real thing. Someone actually emailed me about this, and when I read it, I just got a real big, I'll tell you about that too. Well, no, let me tell you about it now, so I can just get to the story. Someone had emailed me when I was going through this, and I was like, look, I can't help you right now because I have something that I need to remove, and I'm walking through this process. And she told me that, like, hey, I got this COVID vaccination or test, and she was like, something's attacked at me spiritually and mentally, and I don't like it. And I just got this big thing in my head that was like, oh, she has one too. That's why she reached out. And I told her, hey, look, I'm going through this. The intuitive hit I got is that you're going through this too, and that's why we're connecting and do this, and this, right? I haven't heard back from her. I'm going to send her an email anyways just to see if she's okay, because it can be a pretty traumatizing thing, and I'm pretty strong, and even I was just like, what the so it's not even something that you want to like tell people, because I remember I told a friend, and I'm going to get to the story about how I did it and what I did. I was talking to my friend and my mom, and they got off the phone with me so fast. I was like, Liz, I'm dealing with this thing. They're like, yeah, my friend was like, look, in the mood I'm in, I can't handle this right now. So you go take care of it, and I will call you back. Click. I was like, dang. My mom, she was like, hey, Mom, I'm dealing with this. She was like, oh, all right, I'll talk to you later, Lisa. Bye. You know who your real friends are. Yes. Oh my God. So yes, I worked with my mentor who is also an energy. Well, we're angelic. We're both angelic healers. I'm also a shaman as well. And I was able to lift it off. Like it was for me to do. They helped give me guidance, but they're like, ultimately it's your power. You have to see how much power you have. But yeah, it took me out for like a month because the 3 days I was dealing with it. And then like afterwards, I'm just like, what the like, y'all don't be putting me through this earth school without y'all teaching me. Sometimes they just throw you into it and you're like, can I get some training like the Karate Kid or something before we do this? But like I said, like everything worked out perfectly. I can get in touch with my energy healer. But Paradigm Climb, what I'm happy about to hear from you is that you knew what it was and you sought the help and you got the help. But yes, it's a lot to process. So this is going on right now with the Ascension process. They have free reign right now. So it's not happening to everyone, okay? But to me, I think you just know when it happens. Tell me some of the symptoms, Paradigm, if you can. But you just sort of know it's taking place. What I realized throughout this whole process is that, Lisa, you're activating your high priestess DNA. When you worked as an African priestess with the Orishas, when you worked as a Norse shaman, when you worked in your past life as a Mayan shaman, when you worked, those are. Do I know of any more off the top of my head? I know, like in my DNA, I've activated the shamanism and the healing abilities of those past lives that I've had. And, for me, it's just like, listen, like people are going to need you to know how to do this. So you have to do it yourself. It was a lot, but I'm bringing this to the public because there are certain things you can do before, say you don't know an energy healer, right? Like say, maybe that's not your world. If you're religious, you can go to like, your priest or something, and I guess they know how to do it. They'll bring over you. But this was really like, we need to be empowered to do it ourselves. So whenever I'm taught something, it's always like, you need to know that you can do it. You need to know how to do it. But it's always something that is shareable to the public that I can empower you with, that like, if this happens to your friend, you can counsel them through it. And so versus them getting so low vibrational, because I got a little low vibrational. And I'm strong, but that was one thing I was like, y'all are not doing this to me. But even if you're really strong, it still can take you out. Okay. And the more you get in the fear, the more they're winning. So I actually am uploading right now. I did a healing. It's raising and cleansing your vibration. Now you can do this for anything, but it helped. I just like for a full day, I just did on repeat one of my healings for cleansing and raising my vibration. And I cleansed, and then I took spiritual baths, and I'll tell you about that. So it just cleansed and raised my vibration, cleansed and raised my vibration. And you keep doing that. I was like, no, we're not going to work. We're just doing this today. And what it did was that as I was doing the visualization and energy techniques to pull it off completely, and I think I sent him to the black hole in another dimension, which is sort of cool. But there's a lot of other things before I was really aware of like what I could mentally do, which came to me after I was like, y'all need to tell me what I need to do. Y'all can't just be throwing me in this. This thing is annoying, right? I'm saying this thing because it was on my back. Like I could feel it. But we finally got it, and my clairvoyance was coming in. So I actually got to see what that was, what other things was. Merlin, it's really cool to hang out with your spiritual team because Merlin came to my rescue with the Knights of the Round Table. I know that sounds crazy, but he did. I was like, thanks, Merlin. So, go roll hard with your spirit team because when you need them, they will from the other side, they are sending you reinforcements. So I'm just going to read Paradise before I get into my things because I'm impressed that they knew what it was. And I'm sharing this so you don't have to be scared of it. Just know that this is happening, and just know for my own thing, I am being trained to be able to help people through this. So I actually appreciate that because I know there's so many things in this world, but having someone and trust that you can go to is also really helpful, like I did with my energy healer. So Paradigm Client said it was obsessive thoughts, dreams after being apart for a decade. Also, he started dating my friend after we've been broken up for a decade. There's much more to this story. I wonder if he was doing went to a root worker and got a piece of your hair. I have come to know he's a spiritual predator. Oh, and a narcissist in the, okay, girl. So, At the end of the day, high vibration helps keep anything they try to throw at you from bouncing because it's just not an energetic match. So that's always been my defense, but they actually let this one in. So I will start with the story. All the different things I tried and they all worked, but what ultimately worked, and which I actually had to do 3 more times because they're like, let's test her to see what she's doing. And I'm like, we are not. And I cast it out. And I actually started getting really creative when I realized like what you can do and how powerful beings we are. So that was pretty fun. So let me go ahead and share this with you. And she is correct. Some people are spiritual. Well, some people can be spiritual predators. So I was on the internet. So there's a lot of energy that travels through the internet. Like I remember I was in an argument with like somebody, and I went to the site and I felt all this negative energy. So just understand, when you're on social media and negative energy is coming through you, I'm aware, so I felt it. But if you're not aware, you're just absorbing and allowing that energy. So when I feel it, I can like, just in my mind, I picture like a globe around me that protects me. An energy globe that it can't go through, and anything that did goes through, I transmute it to divine love and light. So that is and I'm going to show you how powerful your visualizations are, because there was something that came to me that helped me finish this and remove the attachment all the way through. Okay. So it was a thought that like, okay, if I can talk to God, if I can talk to Jesus, if I can talk to my angels with just the thought, I am a powerful being. So what else can I do with just the thought? And I know that didn't come from me. I know that came as a inspirational thought, because I kept asking, you have to show me what to do. You have to show me what to do. You can't just have things attached to me without showing me what to do. Like I get I'm in earth school. I get I'm in training to go to a higher level, but y'all can't just be doing this. And then like all of a sudden I got that thought. And then that's when I did all these things with my visualization, and it actually worked. So I want you guys to know your visualization is not some rinky-dink thing. You can completely take someone and shove them to another dimension, just with your thoughts. And I actually went back to something I learned when I was 5, and when I had thoughts I didn't want in my head anymore, or they just kept coming back. And it's funny, like that 5-year-old visualization I did, like when I was 5 or 6 or 7, and like I was just like, I just don't want to think about this anymore. I picture like a rag dog taking whatever thought I had and going out into like the galaxy, and then it would like crystallize into ice because it's so cold, and take it away. And that was always really effective. I actually went back to that, and that worked. But now, you know, I'm 39. My birthday was late February. So big old Pisces birthday. And it's funny, you know, yeah, how many years later? 35 years later, you know, I'm like, that thing worked, you know? So I knew it, you know, so sometimes when you're a small kid, you do have the answers. You just don't know how effective it is. So I'm on YouTube world, and I was somewhere where I trigger people on YouTube. Now they don't know why I'm triggering them. I have this voice in this power to sort of shoot through, and like there's gonna be a lot of noise, but you're gonna hear me. And so I get out some social media posts, and some people are wilding out. And there's this woman named Cynthia G. I did that. Cynthia G is a liar. And that's not why I'm doing this. It was just where I was when I got the attachment. And they're like, what? And I'm just like, chill the F out. We got to grow up. We got to be grown-ups, not kids, about this. And I remember talking to someone, and they were low vibrational. And I'm talking, all of a sudden I felt, whoop. That's exactly how it felt and sounded. I'm like, what is this? Okay. Now, I didn't know how like it was low vibrational. It did not feel evil, right? And so when you feel energy, I didn't at that time see it. I just felt this attachment, right? I did see a little later on when I calmed down enough to focus so I can receive the images. But at that time, it was just basically, I felt something. Now, I didn't see most of my spirit guides, even though I work with them every day, unless I ask to feel their energy. So if you go to my introduction to channeling class, I talk like, you know, before I start communicating, I have whatever high vibrational beings surround me in their energy so I can see what it feels like. And they all feel different. Dragon energy feels different than my ancestral energy, feels different than the angel energy. All different realms, all different energy signatures. So this didn't feel evil, and I honestly just didn't feel like taking the time to like channel. So I was just like, you know, I'm around spirits all day. Like, it's not that big a deal. But this one, there was a string of events that happened that let me know, okay. It was like something fell over, and then this fell over, and then this fell over, and then all of a sudden I was using a mandolin and I freaking cut my thumb. And it was just like, okay, so this isn't. And then I remember I can drop energy in my hands as an energy healer and shaman. You literally, like right now, I can do it. You can probably feel it. I can call up energy and light code energy in my hands. You can feel calm. So when you get to this level of spirituality, you can literally call energy out. You can work with people's life forces that is within me that I brought to the surface. You can do it too if you wanted to. So I remember I was doing that with my manifestations and my magic, and I couldn't do it. It was trying to block me. And I was like, okay, all right, asshole. Sorry, I don't mean to cuss, but like, he wasn't an asshole. Maybe cut my thumb. My thumb is fine now because I'm a healer. So, I healed at a very fast, but like literally sliced it off in a mandolin. And it was all these different things in a row that I was like, okay, evil spirit. And so I tried to channel something. I was trying to talk to Oshun. And I was like, and I learned a lot through this process. I learned how to channel more securely than I had been before. So that was really good. So I remember I went to channel Oshun because someone was like, have you been initiated into the African Orisha? I was like, probably in my past life. Like I'm just with everything else. And I was like, well, let me channel Oshun and ask her. Like, hey, and the answer is yes, of course. That was out. And I was pretty high priestess when I was working with Oshun. In my previous life when I was initiated in African Orisha. So religion. So you got to understand, like, if you're a magician, you probably during every past life within my genetics, within your genetics, you've done everything. If there was a life where you can learn this, you learned it. If you can learn this magic, I learned it. There's not one magic I found that I have not, like, it's in my DNA because that's what I spent my past life doing, building those skills. And this life, it's just really expressing itself because I was already naturally good at manifesting. But now I'm like, let's go hard. I manifest within a month now, like within weeks, within days, sometimes within hours. So it's within me. So I was like, okay, people get really worked up when you talk about working with the Orishas, but like you don't wear like, you're not a current life initiate. So I was like, let me channel Oshun because if I sit down and concentrate, I'm able to hear and download the thought. And I remember when I tried to, I was like, Oshun, so was I initiated in a past life? And what I heard was, because I closed my eyes and I channel right. And what I heard was like, no, you served at her leisure. You were a court jester. And I literally wrote in my notebook, what weirdo low vibrational being is talking to me? Because that's not even like really antagonistic, but it was just like, what's that? So so another thing that was really obvious, like, okay, like this thing. And then so all of this is like just sitting down sometimes instead of being so worked up and taking the time to just receive information. And that's when I saw it was like this green blob of energy. Now, it wasn't a demon. It was a low vibrational being. There are low vibrational beings all around us, but they don't necessarily attach. So when I talked to my spirit guides and my angels, they were like, we let this in. This is part of your training as a spiritual warrior and coming into what you're here to do, which is serve and heal and protect. And like people are going to need you to know these skills to help them on their journey and path. So we let that in. I was like, yeah, because usually my high vibration keeps a lot out. And they were like, yeah, but this was sort of contracted for you when you got to a certain level because this is just training that you have to do on your own. So I'm cool with that. And then like I get in touch with my mentor and it's like Sunday, right? And she's a Monday to Friday girl, super busy because she's good. But she happened to be free right when I emailed her to speak like 2 hours later. And I was like, and so she was there. And that's funny because it's funny. And I mentioned it because like, I'm just really happy that when I needed them on a Sunday, she happened to be free and she usually isn't. Because I was like, I need some help walking through that because my energy, I'm so like whacked out and like, oh my gosh, like what the heck? Like, how do I remove this thing that like I'm not really conscious? You know what I mean? So I called her, but before I called her and I realized this being was there, I turned to what I did know, which is sort of magic. So I got this book of spells and like, it's like you can buy it off Amazon, $30. And I bought it because I'm so multidimensional in my past lives. I bought it because it was like it's all this magic from all over the place, right? It's like in Druid they do this, and Wiccan they do this, and Hoodoo they do this, and I wanted that because sometimes one religion has the answer that you don't know about. One religion was deeply connected to this herb or ritual that you don't know about here. And so if you only look at one dimension, you're going to be one dimensional. You're not going to get the full story of all the things that you have at your disposal. So that's what I got. And I remember I just opened it up and I'm like, literally, it's like if you had a Harry Potter movie, I was Harry Potter. I was like, okay, let's see. Let's go to hexing. Because I thought it was maybe a hex from one of the people at that low vibrational channel I was on. And so I was doing these things, but then when I sat down and found out, it was like, spirit removal. So I turned to the things that I knew. So I turned to the internet. I turned to that spell book. I'm like, what can I do? And I learned that San Cipriano, he actually helped. That is a saint that is here to help remove all beings. I burnt a candle to him. He has like a yellow candle and he likes certain herbs. I also did one to Archangel Michael, like a red defender candle with like frankincense, myrrh, dragon's breath, blood. I also did black candles to remove and banish, but then it got a little bit more interesting in what I learned. But with that, what I learned going through this process, so that's my magical. And so then and part of this was like, every time I calmed down, I got answers, right? So Facebook user says, this is so real, but you can't speak about it with everyone. People will look at you crazy. Yeah, I was going to go live on my Facebook page, and I was like, let me just keep this to the spiritual channel where people know what's going on. Because I was like, they're not ready for this level of realness. It is real, and it's happening more and more. Like Paradigm Climb, you just missed it, but she said it just happened to her, and she had to go to an energy healer and a shaman to remove it. Like, this is, I think it's a lot more widespread, and the good thing is that people know when it's happening. So follow your instincts and don't ignore it, because you'll notice the string of really bad things happening. Like if you don't address it, it's like boom, 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 and they just escalate until you do something or get someone who can help you. And people will look at you crazy. Or like you missed the first part. My mom and a friend, they were like, okay, you just handle that and let me know when you're done. Click. They couldn't get away from me fast enough. Like, and it was just over the phone. So it's also something where you're going to have to go through by yourself, but that's okay, because there's people like me who are going through this process, who are learning the hard way how to go through it. So that's what I tried on my own. It was very magical. But then when I sat down, and this was before my mentor, and then I sat down and I actually learned, like, I talked to God. I'm like, look. Okay. And when I think of God, I think of the sun, and I established a link of communication. So it's like a cord of light going from me to the sun or whatever entity or me. And I make the intention, this is a protected link. And I was like, what can I do? Show me and guide me to what I need to do to remove this. And he was interesting, because all of a sudden I got images, my clairvoyant images of like me and Layla. And we're just talking about how much we love each other. That's my daughter. And there's a lot of love between us. So we're all like, I call her my beloved, and she loves it. And we just talk about how much we love each other. And then like in the vision, I'm just like, love, love, love. I was like, oh, you want me to show it love? Okay. So I opened my heart chakra, which you can picture your heart chakra, your green heart chakra opening up and then showering the being with love. And I just did that for about 5 minutes. And I channeled my ancestors and angels afterwards, like, what did that do? And the response back, I was like, well, it actually made it more amenable and less hateful towards you. So all of a sudden, the vindictiveness was really starting to alleviate. And it's because that's really cool, because when I went to YouTube, when I was like spirit attachment, there's this one guy's video that resonated, and they were like, well, why don't you ask the spirit guide why he's here, what he's doing, or like, why don't you shower it with love? Because it could just be a being that's really scared and doesn't know how to go to the light, and it attached to someone who might be able to help them. So when God like literally was like, hey, just shower him with love, that's not something I would have done. I'm very human and I'm a warrior. So I was like, I want to beat this mother, like, I want to fight, like, show me how to fight. Like, I'm ready to fight too, which is funny. But I did shower with love for about 5 minutes of meditation doing that, and it did have an effect. And then I had to learn about a lot of defensive magic and reversal magic. So then I'm like, all right. So I had just been through some stuff where I had bought this book on like hoodoo, because hoodoo is a little bit more aggressive about going towards people. I don't generally do it, but like if you're being attached to me, it's fine. But I learned the hard way that, and so I'm looking through, and so I have all these books and I haven't even read them all, but I'll pick them up as resources. And I'm looking through it and I was like, okay, so in the hoodoo tradition, which is very much about an oppressive force, and how to combat that and take your power back, you can go ahead and do like a confusion spell. You can do some like hot foot, so you can hot foot it out of there or banish someone. And you can also, what was that? What was the other one that I did? But I also learned that you should do a return to cinder. So I did I burned some bay leaves, because bay leaves is a very, very powerful herb. And I don't care who uses it, it's good. You write down what you want on a bay leaf, you burn it, it's coming. Like, you just need to know when. Right? If you go to my workshop, Introduction or How Magic Works, that is one of the most powerful things a beginner can do to instantly start seeing results, because it is so powerful. And bay leaf, I talk about how and why it works because I channeled on it and got those answers. But yeah, I burned that, and I did one that was like he's confused, and then one where it was like he really wants to leave, and another one that says he volunteers to leave. Right? Because when you double up on magic, it works. And this is before I met my mentor, because I was doing it my way, which is like, I know a lot of magic. And it was funny because I did those three. And then I went in the kitchen real quick to like eat something, because, you need to keep your strength up. And I remember I had set my plate down, and all of a sudden, one of the lids to my air fryer fell off, but it was very, very randomly where I know this thing did it, and shattered the plate. And I was like, oh, okay. You didn't like me doing all this confusion stuff to you. Okay. And it's something I just didn't think about. Like, he can retaliate, right? Or she, yeah, I was like, he. And so then I did a return to cinder on him. So the return to cinder is like this karmaless way of being proactive, where you're just like, any energy that comes towards you, if it's negative, goes right back towards them. And what I learned from that strategically was like, if you are battling someone, and I mean, it was a battle, so I won eventually, but it took it out of me. Do the return to cinder, surround yourself with that energy, and say any energy that's coming towards you, any negative energy, gets returned right to cinder as quickly as possible. And if I would have done that first, because he didn't do anything afterwards really, except stay attached, but I got him off. But like, it's just a strategy you don't think about until you're in it, and then you do something, and then they like shatter your plate to show you their displeasure. And it sort of sucks, because like I had to clean it, and I'm like cleaning. Y'all know I get maids every week. Yeah, just strategy. So, if anything ever happens to you, just make sure you do a return to cinder type intention. Like, I use a bay leaf or a candle, but you can do it with your mental setting that. Now, I'm sort of an outsourcer, so I like just doing like using a magical tool, because like then I don't have to think about it. Like, I know what's being done on my behalf, and I know they're at a higher dimension. They can do it better than I can. FYI, my book that I just had written and just peer edited, and now we're getting a cover made, is Sacred Magic: Understanding Magic Through Higher Energy, Signals, and Higher Consciousness. It talks about like what magic really is and how it works, as far as my understanding, and which is cool, because my understanding makes me be able to use it to a higher degree. Yeah, so I like these magical tools because I like outsourcing it versus like, okay, let me think about what I want. But just understand your visual is very powerful, and I'm going to explain that towards the end when I finally removed it. So return to cinder, and then do the confusion, and this wants to leave. Or you could even do neutralize enemy, right? So these are things I didn't know, but like I said, I am a light worker. So I am going towards things that are more not like kill this man or hex it or ban it, like more like banish or neutralize or confuse, or they really want to leave, right? So even my magical and how I do it, like I still get to the same results, but definitely all of those help ease, like the hooks it had, like it eased it and eased it and eased it. When I combined it with the raising the vibration, the spiritual baths, and the cleansing, and I just listen to my own healings, I listen to them on repeat. I have healings that I do for myself, and then I'll just listen to them because you're absorbing them, and I fell asleep with them. All of this makes a difference. But it was really interesting learning about the different magical and defensive magic versus offensive magic. a little bit, I sort of don't even want to like go into this, like, because I'm like, what if I get in a battle with a mage and they read this, so they know what I'm going to do. So I'm just like, I'm going to have to up my game on what else. But like, I try to do neutralize threats. It's like a karma list thing where you're doing it and it's sort of, it's offensive magic, right? It's not just defensive, but you're not really creating karma. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You're not creating negative karma towards yourself, but you are neutralizing your threat, right? And that's like a really positive thing to know. If you're walking this line of knowing how to use magic, I definitely have a pretty strong ethical core that I'm not going to cross. But, you know, I still, you know, you still need to be able, I still need to be able to fight. I am still a warrior. So learning how to come up with these ways that are still good for your own energy and your own karma, but also if you believe in that, and sometimes I go back and forth with it, but also being able to defend yourself and not just be in the defensive is also a very good thing. David, you can ask me a question, but if it's something too random, I can't answer. So go ahead and answer and I'll let you know if I can. So that was very interesting, learning like different battle techniques. Like if you are in a spiritual war, like, you know, you can confuse them all you want, but then they can do something to you because they don't like it. So you need to protect yourself. So I think those are the big things that I just really had to go through. And it was every time I calmed myself down, I received the answer. So this stuff is scary, but understand, like, you really aren't at this stage. I don't really see demons doing it, like really higher intelligent, low vibrational being. It's very low vibrational, not the most intelligent things that can attach. So see, Mercury is saying, she said something similar. Girl, it's happening right now. Okay. This is happening. Okay. She said, well, I've experienced something. And then we're going to get to the other part where like, it gets even more crazy. So, but we did it. So, wow. Mercury said, I have something very similar. I knew there was a low energy on me from my boyfriend's friends. I was also being hit with low vibrations from a close friend who lives in fear. Yes. And tell me how you eventually got out. So she says, I found out about the energy through tarot. Thank you. Yeah, actually, one of my guidance was like, Lisa, if you can't hear because like you have so much fear and angst, and the information is not coming through because your energy isn't in that high vibrational state to take it, start using tarot cards. I'm so glad you did. And she went through an entire process of transmuting energy around me to love. Yes, so we did the same thing, Mercury. We're all going through this training. And, you know, it's definitely training when you're at our level. Like, Mercury's someone who's very high level, like high vibrational, very high spiritual. That is who I attract, people who are very high on their spiritual journey for the most part. Like, we've done a lot of work. We have a lot of enlightenment and knowledge. Like, you just can't get to this for no reason. And so we're all going through this because this is part of our journey and Earth School. But, like, it is going to be in service to other people who are going to need people who are knowledgeable about it on how to do it. So you did the same thing I did. Now I went maybe a little deeper because I worked with my guides to remove, and even Merlin showed up to help me out because I was not in a good mood. Because I am cool with my spirit guides teaching me stuff, but I was like, you got to teach me. You can't just throw me into the fire. Like, that is not okay. That is not, like, I'm a good teacher. I don't throw anyone into the fire. You be good teachers. Like, so I don't know. We're still going back and forth on that. But yeah, your guides helped. And Mercury, tell me, how long did it take? Because it takes a little bit of time. So it's the raising them. So I did a lot of my magical stuff, so San Cipriano, literally, I had a vision of a hand coming in and pulling him off, right? And like Michael was with me the whole time. And I was like, oh. And then he even said, when I calmed down enough to hear, he was like, Lisa, like, ultimately, it's your power. You have the power to do it. And I remember I just started telling myself, I easily remove low vibrational beings. I easily remove detachments. And I just kept repeating it. So that's why it took me like 3 days, because it's just like, you know, I wanted this gone and I'm just doing these other things. And then I got in touch with my mentor finally after I did my magical things that I know would eventually work at some point. And I was taking spiritual baths with the salt. So make sure you do that as well. Yeah, Mercury says, I think I was less aware of what was happening, but I'm happy. Yeah, and you did the same thing. Now, I was like super hardcore, and mine was like attached. Like, it was a big test, but like you did exactly what I did. So it's so beautiful you know what to do, because someone else is going to have this issue. And it's nice that people like me and you who are like, all right, don't trip. I tripped. It doesn't work. It doesn't help. This is what we can do. Okay. This is what you can do on your own. You can do this all day. Eventually it'll go away. This is what detaches it from you. So it was like 2 weeks. Yeah. Mine was like a solid 3 days. Like I didn't work. That's why y'all haven't seen me. That was in early February, and I didn't. Y'all, it took me some time to get over it. So, yeah. And then I'm just sitting here thinking like, this really happened. Okay, because it's a little invasive. I can't, So, so I finally got in touch with my mentor, and we did this really deep energy healing to remove it and detach it. And that was really cool. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I wish they would have told me, but let's do it. This is like our Sunday meeting. She was like, I happen to have some free time. I was like, okay, thanks God for hooking that up. But then like that night it came back, and I'm like, you mother. Oh, I don't want to cuss too much like that on YouTube, but you understand. And so that's when, I'm really big on asking my guides, like you have to I'm used to like asking and just, oh, I found a new way to do this, right? Like, just being open to whatever they give you. And then all of a sudden you have an inspiring thought. That's exactly what So it came back, and I'm like, okay, this sucks. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable. Now that I know he's evil and my thumb got cut off by the mandolin, well, it's growing back, but still, like, it hurt. What else did we do to escalate it? So then at that point, I was just like, so what's going on? And I remember I was talking to the sun. So sun is God. So so like if you want to do this, you can. It's actually very interesting. You can visualize a cord of light directly to the sun. And I was like, tell me more about this. Where is it happening, and who's it going? And all of a sudden I got it. And my clairvoyance is something I've been working on. I'm actually in like a school and do meditations every week in like this clairvoyance, International School of Clairvoyance, if you guys are interested. And it's coming to me, but like my direct link with God, it actually comes back very, very, very vivid. Like I don't have to work on it. So that's like another reason I like talking to the sun or God or whatever you want to call him. I'm not religious. So I know this thing very like physically, right? Like, and through my guide. So it's just a different way of thinking of them than this like unknown thing. Is like, no, it's the sun. And the moon's the mother, right? And I remember direct link, and I saw like the image of an old man in a gray cowl with a round table in a cave with some doors working. And I was like, what is so? And so I didn't understand that vision. So I worked with my mentor. She was like, I'm seeing Merlin, Knights of the Round Table. And there was like this protective shield that went around you. I'm like, oh, thanks, Merlin, because I work with Merlin all the time. Like, he's my man. Like, he's the reason why I burn bay leaves and, like, diamond energy flows around me. Okay? Like, he's just opened up and tapped me into my abilities, because at one point I worked very closely with him in one of my past lives. Yes, Merlin's real. Yes, Knights of the Round Table's real. No, it's not just fiction. It's not. It's real. It's sort of cool knowing that Knights of the Round Tables and Merlin are sitting here discussing me. I don't know. I feel sort of special. Okay? I really do. But the thing is, I cultivate relationship with these spiritual beings who are for the highest good. So, and I work with them, and I stay disciplined in that. And so we develop very close ties. And so if I scream, or if I'm in angst, or if I have anxiety, they hear. They know that I have given them the ability, these particular beings, my dragon guides, my ancestors, to intercede on my behalf. And that we've developed that through a very close relationship over years. So that was pretty freaking awesome. And FYI, if you did my How Magic Works class at the end, for anyone who is interested, I show you how to connect, and I did connect you with Merlin. So it's not just Lisa. I like say this, but like no one's interested in working with them. I was like, how do you not be interested in working with a wizard and learning wizard stuff? I swear, people. So that was pretty interesting. Like seeing that image from God, talking to my mentor, like, what? Who was that? Like, I didn't recognize it was Merlin because it was like down to here, and then it was an evil sorcerer. Who's casting spells? Oh, thank you, Paradigm. Oh, can you see my spirit? Can you feel it? I always tell people, like, close your eyes and sense it. Whatever spiritual teacher you have out there, close your eyes and feel their energy, right? And that'll tell you everything you need to know. Because I can smile all day, but the energy tells the truth about who and what I am and what I'm dealing with. And the veracity and authenticity. You can always feel that energy in it. So always feel me out. And if you like me, roll with me, because we are on an ascension path. I'm on an accelerated one. I've said this in all my videos. So if you're with me, you're going to roll with me. Okay. But we're going to know more, be able to do more than most people out there in this freaking planet. Okay. And galaxy. We're trying to be number one here. So that was interesting, like knowing Merlin came to my help, which made me feel really, really special. But then all of a sudden I got the idea, like Lisa, you can do so many things with your mind. You can talk to the sun. You can get clairvoyant images. You can talk to ghosts. You can talk to angels with just a thought. So why can't you just, with a thought, do something to this? And so I tell you that because I'm very aware I had been asking for how to do this. And that thought did not come from Lisa. That came from my guides, but it finally was able to get through because my energy was high enough for it, right? I was able to receive it and not be blocked with so much fear. And that helped with like listening to the raising the vibration and the cleansing and doing the spiritual bath. And I have my magic going. You know, I'm returning to Cinder, like I'm doing all these things. So eventually I go from like, to like, I'm empowered, right? Like you're going to leave. I'm going to get you off. I get that thought. And then it was like over within like 10 minutes. So I'm sort of bad it took me that long to get the information, but I did learn a lot about defensive magic techniques and how I have to make sure I protect myself before doing, you know, like I did learn a lot like that, you know, the direct link thing. I wasn't doing the direct link, but I knew he was interfering with my communication. So I had to like figure that out. So there's a lot of things I learned through the process. And I also learned how powerful our thoughts were. Okay. So now if I'm like, now I use that all the time. I'm creating shields and blocks for people just with the idea of my mind, but I know that I can do it. So when I got that thought, I was like, okay, so I'm going to make, so I made like, I pictured a bubble and the bubble grabbing anything that wasn't of the light around me. But the bubble, the edges, but what made the bubble was a high vibrational field that like, you know, that only allowed certain things to pass through it. So it captured it. And then I pictured the bubble going really small. And then I pictured my little doll friend from when I was 5. It's like an ugly, dirty rag doll. In my head, I don't know why, but it's super effective, even to this day. So there must be something in that rag doll like that I knew at 5 that to this day was really effective. So I did it once without the doll, and I felt it leaving and peeling, but not all the way off. So I did it twice. But then when I did it with my doll friend, like my little rag doll that I visualized, it pulled it all the way off. And I was like, take this to the black hole, because I picture the black hole like in the galaxy, throw it in there and make sure he does not go back. And so I did that, and it worked. And that was like 5 minutes. So I did all this work, all this magic, all these candles, all this stuff. And I was like, that thought came to me. And all of a sudden I made a high vibrational force field, pulled it out, programmed the force field to go to another dimension. And he cannot come out until he was of the love and light. So I don't know what you're doing. His name was Beelzebub. I was like, it was Beelzebub. When I channeled on it. So you can do whatever you want. That's how powerful your mind is. And it's like cool that I got the attachment and cool. And then like I remember something else. So I got rid of it. I cleansed some more. Cleanse, transmuted all the energy that it wasn't divine love and light to divine love and light. It's a good thing for you, Mercury, for doing that. So yeah, transmuted the energy. So I cleansed myself because I was like, I don't want any trace of this being on me at all. And when I go hard, I go hard. So the good thing about my business is that I have enough passive income where like if I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to work, I don't work. It just is what it is. I were to, you know, that's what the goal was. That's what I manifested. So, you know, I could take those 3 days and focus on my spirituality. And so cleanse that up. So I was like, okay, thank you. Because I'm very aware of like, thank you, spirit guides and everyone who stepped forward to help. Thank you for the thought of like, hey, if you're this powerful, Lisa, you should be able to just remove it with your thought. You can do all these things with your thought. You can literally manifest just by thinking something, and you see it, you can get rid of this low vibrational being. So I think whoever finally was able to like get that to me in a way that I was able to just be like, oh, okay, yeah, then I can do this. Now they didn't tell me what to do; they told me what I could do, right? And so that was pretty cool too, because I like it's like my little bubble lasso. But I've been using it for other things though, because now that I know how powerful it is, right? So that went. And so I was okay at that point. My vibration was a lot higher because I was cleansed and raised it. But then they sent a couple more things back. And then it's just, I feel energy. So all of a sudden it's like this dense energy. I was like, what? And then I pictured the lasso and it took it away and it worked. I didn't like feel it. Didn't like only half come out. I didn't have to use my rag doll. I was like, okay. And then I got an image in my mind because my vision and sight's coming in a lot more. You'll notice I'm saying it's coming in a lot. So it's almost basically here as long as I'm in a high vibrational state and I'm in a calm state to be able to receive, honestly, at this point. Pretty much not on command, but maybe about 7 out of 10 times that I request the vision, I will get it. So that's pretty cool. So it was this weird dog looking thing that if you know anyone who astral projects, they're like, there's these weird dog looking things. It really sounded like the ones that if you're astral project or if you're a lucid dreamer, you might see when you're doing that. Next, there was another entity, and this was practice. Like all of this was practice. They're not just letting some being get to me. I'm just not at that stage. I'm not low vibrational. Like I'm at such a high vibration. It's very obvious because I can feel the energy that, that's what's going on. And so another thing came by and I removed that with just the thought. And I was like, okay, I started feeling a lot better about this. Like, okay, like you don't have to freak out like you did before. You can handle it. You are aware when it happens because your ability to sense energy. Now, I also didn't mention when I was working with my mentor, a lot of different guides came forward, like Melchizedek stepped forward, and he put like this diamond prison in my third eye chakra and some sacred geometry so that I would be aware if there's ever any spirits attached to me. So I also got from Melchizedek an armor, and he said he's here to protect me. So I got one more spiritual being on my team. So also putting an armor around me, right? And so I can like either go armor on or I can think about it. And sometimes when I'm on social media and people are getting really lit and it's a lot of negative energy, I put it on because I'm like, I'm not arguing, but there's an argument or disagreement. Like I said, I can trigger people. They don't know why they're being triggered, but I just get under, I just get under people's skin with like where I'm at because it's like I'm saying something and it makes sense, but it's at something that makes them feel sometimes like a child, and so that triggers them. They don't like feeling like a child with my energy, and so I will put the armor on so that the negative energy that they're shooting off is not like just being absorbed, it's bouncing off. Like that is when you are sensitive to energy. And Mercury and Paradigm, you guys probably both know about this. When you're sensitive energy, you can feel it online. That's where this stuff happens. So understand this information highway is full of different energy. So picture that golden globe around you. So they sent 2 more, but then I got rid of them. Then I closed my vibration. I had no more problems after that. They actually said, congratulations, you passed the test. I was like, Negroes, do not. Are y'all serious? Because you have to understand, as someone who feels energy, like the idea of ghost or attachment was something very invasive for me, right? You can be right here on me as a person. I feel less concerned than a spiritual attachment that I can't see, but I feel. If you feel energy, I think that's some of the scariest things for us. I was really facing one of my biggest fears, like about that happening. This is Laxus. I like his name. It reminds me of the word galaxy, which is where we're all from. Or at least me, because I don't know. I can ascend, and when I die, I'm going to go to heaven. I don't know about these other people taking the vaccine, but that's what's going to happen. And so I was just talking about congratulations. They're like, you passed the test. I was like, oh my God, that really took me to a new dimension. But yeah, so I was like, I'm going to share this it's a little weird to tell people that you had a spirit attachment because they think that, you know, there might be some left, and it's not. Like, it was literally just a test and a couple more tests and I passed. But the thing is, it's happening because someone had emailed me during the middle of it, like I said at the beginning, and I was like, oh, this is you. Like, this is really going on. Mercury, you're like, this happened for like 2 weeks, right? Like, it happened to you. Like, Paradigm was like, you know, this happened to me. Like, this is happening. Like, they're attacking people like us. Now, the good thing is that it took you 2 weeks, and I did it in 3 days with more intense practices and working with my mentor and having like all my spiritual friends. And this one was like hooked in too. It wasn't like, they didn't give me an easy one. They're like, no, Lisa, you're gonna learn how to detach a spirit, okay? But they are sending them. It's happening. So I hope this can help anybody. So if you YouTube how to remove a spirit attachment, you'll find it. You'll find my stuff, and you go, hey, maybe it's not such a big thing. I did upload a video for raising your vibration and cleansing. It'll also help calm you. So if you're very like nervous and scared, it'll remove that. And like I said, if you've been listening to the story, every time I calm down, I can receive the guidance, right? And that's probably like a lesson in life. Whenever you calm down, you can receive more than being so emotional and worked up. And that was a big thing, because it's not always easy when you have a spirit attachment who made you cut your thumb on a mandolin, that you want to be calm about it because you can't really see it. Now, I did actually get a brief vision of it when I asked and I calmed down. So, I told you it was like this green dragon, like dinosaur-y green blobby thing. So that is what happened. I hope this was an interesting story. But just understand there are people who are going through this. Some of us, like me, it's a test. Other people, it's because they're low vibrational, and that thing can hop a ride and they won't even notice. Like, for instance, I am aware that people who are really non-functional, you know, there's functional drug addicts, but then there's non-functional drug addicts, and they look it and see it. They have a lot of spirit attachments because they're not even aware. And drugs and alcohol invites those in. And then if you're not aware, this thing can do all sorts of things, and it feeds off the bad misfortune that you have. You know, your bad low vibrational thoughts. Oh, Mercury says it this way. I see it like a sport, right? Like, I was just like, you better stop messing with me. I send people to other galaxies and you won't come back, okay? I'm not nice, okay? Or I also have this thing where I like open up this chest, and this chest is like, has all these like ghosts in there, and I throw things in there and I close it. So whatever your visualization is, right? So yeah, so we're out here. We can help. But if you don't want to do that, you can cleanse and raise your vibration, burn your candles for protection, and, you know, visualize that thing leaving you. Do whatever it takes. Like, I could have done like a lasso where I wrapped around it, like a golden lasso. I just think gold for some reason. That's just the thing. To me, that's the thing that means like, I'm more powerful than you. Like that golden lasso that pulls it away. Maybe you can see like you blowing dust on it and it disappears. Whatever your visualization takes you to, it's very powerful. And that showed me how powerful it was. Like, so now if like I feel an energy, I'm like, hey, listen, you better leave. I don't play, and I know what to do. And it was interesting. So in my clairvoyance school, so I'm in a 14-week course. If you want to look it up, it's called the International School of Clairvoyance. I paid like $1,500 for like the 12-week course, 14-week course. And every week with a very knowledgeable woman, I read her book first before I purchased this class. There's like 25 people in it, which just made me realize she was making bank. 22 people at $1,500 a pop. This girl's rich, okay? Are going through it. And when I was telling about my experience and what I had to eventually do, someone else was like, yeah, like I had an experience too. And he said he had gotten so angry that he was like, you need to leave now. And he yelled it. And with so much anger and force, it left. And he was like, is there another way to do it so I don't have to go into that anger, that low vibrational like feeling? And y'all gotta understand, like, I'm around some high spiritual people. So like, we talk about like, I don't want to stay low vibrational. What do we do? We have the tool set generally to get over it. And like, he did what he needed to do to get rid of it. But it was just very interesting. So this is happening right now. So yes, I might sound crazy. But if it happens to you, you're going to be happy to be able to read my stuff and be able to go boom, boom, boom. I might do a shorter video just for like the YouTube algorithm, just like how to do it without all the story time. Because I am going to do that. You want to know why? Because when you're in the middle of this, you just need quick, fast answers. You don't need all this. So it was showering a low vibrational being with love. So that was a learning lesson. It was learning that, like, if I perform magic on a low vibrational being who's being antagonistic towards me, make sure you do the return to sender so that you're protected and it bounces off of you, and then do the confusion and the voluntary leaving and the neutralized enemy. I learned how to do a direct link to whatever spirit or even my ancestors or spirit guides with the intention that it's direct and it is protected in order to channel and communicate, because Beelzebub was getting in touch with my things. And I also learned, I already knew like the series of escalating bad events, like that was what tipped me off. But yeah, I also learned that like your visualization is very strong. So there was a lot of spiritual growth and learning about how powerful and capable and the different things we can do as spiritual beings to assess the higher realm that were pretty amazing. Learned about San Cipriano and Archangel Michael. They were like, ultimately, it's you, Lisa. I learned about saying to yourself that you can easily remove things, that you're cleansed and that you're protected. Was a really big thing too. I also learned that I'm very happy I got this book of spells off Amazon for $30, and that it has from every religion, every single thing, like what you can do for a particular subject. And they had a couple ideas from hexes and curses and spirit removals. So this is weird, but like, hey, we're all on the path. This is what it is. So I'm going to end with that unless you guys have any questions. Whew, that was a lot. I've been sitting on that one. I was like, do I really want to tell people that this happened to me? Because even my family members were like, I'm getting off the phone with you, bye. Now they're cool now. Like, they know I handled it. But like, everyone around it was like, I gotta go. No. All I know about TikTok is that the Chinese use it to spy on people. And then I have to make, what are they, like 6-second clips? I don't know. I'm a little bit more verbose. But maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll do it. Maybe you were meant to say that to me. Maybe I'll do a quick little TikTokish video, and that's a lot of work. I need to hire somebody to do it. And just get it out quickly. Yeah, for anyone. I don't know if you can search like how to do spirit removals, but yeah, maybe people on there will need it as well. But I'm going to do a quick video on YouTube, and it's just going to be like, if you want a full story, do this. If you don't want the full story, this is what you can do. This is the fastest and easiest way. Thank you for the live. I was smiling and laughing the entire time. So I'm laughing too because it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, this stuff is so real when you agree or when you start on the path of spirituality. Like, I was already at a point where I was like, yeah, dragons are real, so are Merlin, so are fairies, right? And like, that's enough. And then we're getting to this level where it's just like, like, okay, how much further are we gonna go? So, and I told them, my spirit guides, I am cool. And honestly, they do this like once a year. So I'm also going to do a video on my supernatural activities where like literally Transformers came and I was in like a shootout with them. And that was part of my training too. So like the reason I'm so certain and high vibrational and very clear about spirituality is they put me through this. I am okay with it. It's usually very traumatizing while I'm through it. But generally when I get through it, I'm pretty strong and powerful afterwards. But yeah, about once a year they do it. So I'm probably good for at least 6 months to a year, but you never know right now. I don't even know really. I'm speaking to a mentor, also named Lisa. And she recommended using TikTok to reach people. You know what? It's fast and quick right now. Oh, thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Paradigm. Well, I love that you two were on and commenting and that you literally went through this yourself and you guys handled it yourself. Like, that's beautiful because right now there's going to be a lot of fear and uncertainty, and to have people like us going, okay, it happened this way, this is what we did, we're good, it took 2 weeks, it took 3 days, whatever it took, but to be able to do that and like get people through it, it's going to be very helpful. because people are like, I know I was scared, but I have resources. I know I'm protected. Imagine everyone else who knows that, who doesn't know how protected they are or how to tap into it. So let's keep doing. We are spiritual warriors. That's generally who I attract. We are in spiritual warfare right now. They're trying to, it's the war for their souls to not ascend, to stay on this earth plane when we leave and I ascend, like to keep people down. And they need people like us that they can go to. We're calm, cool, and collected after going through this process, but they know we can do it. And that's what we're being trained for. Still going through it, trying to figure it out along the way. So paradigm. So I will say quickly before I do the other video, go ahead and just cleansing and raising your vibrations is important. So I have a video on it that I just uploaded on my YouTube channel. And so if you want, just listen to that every night, throughout the night. And you can listen to it throughout the day as well. You will absorb all of the energy of it, which will help, because whatever's attached to you, the higher your vibration, the less strong the attachment. And then picture whatever you want to do. You can there's going to be some visualization. Maybe your visualization is like a golden tambourine or something. And when you do the tambourine, the sound of it gets it to go, whatever it is, right? Like I could have done that too, but whatever. You're going to have some idea of how you want to lasso and rope it. And then you can give it whatever intention you want. I sent it to a black hole because I'm that nice. Like, you ain't coming back. You're just not. You're going to be stuck in some dimension. You're not going to know why. Don't mess with me. I do not like attachments, okay? A little stupid dog is in a black hole in a galaxy. Yeah, go ahead and cleanse, raise, visualize, and ask your guys for help. A nice little candle works too, because that means it's working on your behalf. Spiritual baths with salt, all of those raise your vibration to a high degree. Dragon's blood. I have dragon's blood resins. I love the smell of it, and it's just such a powerful, and it really is dragon's blood. Like, it's not just a folks tale. Like, they gave us this, and I'm always like so honored when I stare at it. That's really powerful too for cleansing your vibration and getting it to leave. So if you do the dragon's blood, so just order it off Etsy. It'll be with you in 1, 2, 3 days, you know. If you do that, the cleansing, the vibration, and then the visualization, you can take it right off. If you want, you can send it some love. I sent love for myself. Also picture the sun, God love, like going towards it. And like that meditation really helped for him to like want to leave, as well as me doing the defensive magic of like, remember, return to center first, but then the confusion and the manifestation that he really wants to leave. So hopefully I put it all in. So I'm going to go. I'm tired, but I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sounds good. Definitely confirmation as to what I should do. Yeah, and like I said, read Mercury. Like we're all going through this, right? And it is part of our lessons, and I'm just gonna keep saying it. So when I calmed down, when I got the guidance. It wasn't easy, okay? And you know, I can take a lot. It wasn't easy. So I understand what you're going through, but you're good. Okay, you're good. So talk to you later. Thank you guys. Bye.